Hey everybody, my name's Brian. This is episode 1 of That Changed Things. This is a project I was really excited to get off the ground. I'm not sure about you. I'm a father of 5, happily married, full-time job, like career job, and then the other full-time job of parenting, and then trying to squeeze in any free time for myself to build a hobby, to play guitar, to collect trading cards, read comics, watch a movie, read a book, whatever, right? All things I want to do and things I was not getting done. And I finally had enough. I downloaded the ChatGPT app, not for this reason, but just to kind of mess around and see what was going on in the world of generative AI. And I started trying to flex the muscle of, could generative AI help me with this problem? Could it help me with that problem? Could it help me fix a busted handle on a bathtub, right? Could it help me calculate macros for a diet to lose weight? All kinds of different things. And what ended up happening in this particular scenario is my mornings were a mess, an absolute mess. I wasn't getting up at a consistent time. When I was getting up, what was I doing? Was I gonna have breakfast? Did I not have breakfast? Did the kids get up before me? Did I know what my first meeting was that day? Was it at 9 a.m.? Was it not till 11? Did I have time to do administrative prep work? Should I have already had that done? Just constantly behind the 8 ball, right? Very reactive, very chaotic, fragmented. I was just trying to survive. I wasn't really taking proactive action. I was not on the front foot. I was on the back foot. Mental clarity, I don't know that I ever had it. Decision fatigue, shoot, from the time I woke up, basically, right? I hadn't even thought about what I was going to wear, what I needed to wear. Physical energy, mental bandwidth, right? All gone before 9 a.m. when the actual workday starts. So when I started working with ChatGPT in this instance, it wasn't that it gave me new hours, it just helped me use the ones that I already had better, right? So I went back and I looked through some of the prompts, and here's the actual first prompt that I had typed. Help me build a morning routine that starts at 5:15 a.m., fits my macros, includes a lifting session, and also gives me time for deep work before my meetings start at 8:30 a.m. And it worked, not perfectly, right? So I continued to refine that. I worked on the sequencing, the order of operations of the events. Hey, I need to lift first with pre-workout, and then I'll have food, and then I'll focus on the deep work. And then I realized, oh shoot, I'm really jumping from one thing to the next. I needed to add buffer time in there just to catch my breath. I needed to make sure that it was sustainable and not redlining it every day, right? And that's where I really want to pause, because I think that that's where the internet gets it twisted. You've seen the advertisements on social media if you're on there. I know I have. This one prompt will 10x your life. The God prompt, the silver bullet. Well, here's the truth. And I'm not a prompt engineer, right? Like, I am just a layman. But here's my experience, and that's what I want to bring you on this show, is just anecdotal activity that you can replicate to see if it makes a difference for you. I didn't have the perfect prompt. I had a half-baked idea and a time crunch. So I typed something in, and then I talked to it, I reacted, I refined it. And I didn't get that silver bullet, but it became a little bit more of a co-created solution because I kept massaging it through the conversation, right? And that's the muscle that I'm continuing to build, and what I want to share with you episode to episode are different use cases where, like, you don't need a prompt out of context to completely change your life. I think it's a Swiss Army knife to help you do the things that you already need to do, that you already know you need to do, but it can help provide some of the structure and do some of that high-level thinking for you so that you can focus on implementing, or it can tell you how to implement so that you can focus more strategically. Like, you can literally use it either way. So if you've ever tried ChatGPT once and thought, oh, this doesn't work for me, that wasn't the right answer, it totally missed the mark, I would challenge you that maybe you didn't stay in the pocket long enough, because I think the real prompt is the conversation, right? So now, I do wake up at 5:15, or even if I don't, which I do the majority of the time, because it really helps planning this out the night before. I'm getting up and I have a purpose. But even if I don't, I can still come in and use a version of this prompt and I can say, hey, I slept in. It's actually 8:08 a.m. already. I already had breakfast. I didn't work out, so I need to figure out how to fit that into the rest of my day. And it can consistently help me recalibrate my schedule around anchor points, like deep work for projects I need to do, or for internal meetings that I have at my day job, right? But typically, I am getting up at 5:15. I'm taking pre-workout. I'm checking a couple of emails personally, and then I'm hitting a lifting session. I'm having a macro-aligned breakfast. I've got time assigned for either getting the kids to school, right, or working on a project for me, and then I'm wrapped and ready to rock and roll for my day job by 8:30. And those small shifts are actually what gave me all of the control over my day, right? Now I'm not reacting. Now I've actually got the mental clarity, the mental hit points to actually go in and make decisions and think about how I'm going to get ahead and what are the 3 big rocks I'm moving today, right? And then what are the little tasks that I need to do? And it's filling all of that in for me around those non-negotiable points in time. So whether those are meetings for my day job, a doctor's appointment that I have, and I've already accounted for the commuting time as well in my inputs the night before, right? So it's giving me a roadmap. I mean, look, I actually, unintentionally, I have all of these are for those that are listening on audio, I literally have a stack of paper here. And these are daily schedules that are dated, generated by ChatGPT, where everything is lined out by time, right? So if we look at one here, let's see. 5:15. This was for Thursday, May 29th. Morning routine, 5:15 to 7 a.m. I'm not going to read the whole thing. 5:15 to 5:20. Wake up and slam pre-workout. 5:20 to 6:10. Workout, gym, 45 minutes. 6:10 to 6:30. Cool down, protein or breakfast. 6:30 to 6:45. Read 10 pages of a book. 6:45 to 7. Quick inbox scan and reset. Right? And then it goes into a morning work block from 7 to 9:30. Meeting block where I had internal meetings for my company, 9:30 to 12. Midday reset, 12 to 1. Included lunch and a couple personal actions I needed to take, right? And then I had afternoon execution from 1 to 4:30. Light wrap and strategy, 4:30 to 6. Evening wind down was 6 to 10. So I'm creating all of the inputs for that, right? So another challenge that I've always had is I have a work schedule. I have my work calendar. And then I've tried to use Gmail and Google Calendar. I've tried to use Apple Calendar to combine the two. And I've always just had a heck of a time trying to honor and respect both calendars and just keep them up to date. So this has been a great way, and I think this potentially scales into something larger over time, that you could start to include like a daily review as well. Like, did you accomplish those 3 big rocks, etc. But it's a little bit more tactical. It's the track you're laying right in front of you that you know you need to execute on, but it allows you to go from reacting to what's coming at you to stepping out in front of what's coming at you tomorrow, right? So I've just found it to be very helpful. And again, it wasn't this one prompt that I found on the internet that I typed in and it changed my life. It was more a combination of like, hey, here's the struggle. And I'm sure if I was a prompt engineer, I could do this even better. But I encourage you to do it the way that you would talk to a friend, the way that you would talk to a parent, a sibling, maybe even a therapist. I don't know, but probably not a therapist. But you can just say like, hey, this is the challenge. This is what I want to accomplish, and it will give you something. Mold that clay, right? It doesn't have to be perfect from the get-go. So that's how I would end this. I want these to be short. I want these to be sweet. I want this to be something you can listen to in the car. You can watch it on YouTube in the background, whatever the case may be. If you're waiting for the perfect prompt to change your life, I think you'll be waiting forever. Some of those can be fun exercises or just fun in general. But if you're ready to talk to your tools like a real partner, I think you start building better days. And that's what this show is going to be about. So follow That Change Things wherever you're getting your podcasts, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, what have you. Subscribe on Substack. The podcast is going to be, what in my mind, the driving force of the content that we create here. But I will also have written content as well on Substack. So if you want the actual prompt sequence I used, it'll be in the show notes. With that being said, I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing you here at the next one. So again, this was Brian over at That Change Things, and I will see you next time.